I personally believe that resort is one of the best money-making areas. If you need money, resort is definitely the way. Always, always, always go resort if you need money. You can easily come up like 10, 12 mil in a day. Easily. It is an intimidating area, but once you learn it, you're good. So, this is the resort. I feel like resort is an intimidating spot on the map because this is the most like highly trafficked PvP area, but it's also the best loot on the map. This is the main place on the map that matters. You have West Wing over here, Admin, and East Wing. So if you're looking from the front, West, Admin, East. This bridge right here is Sky Bridge, and then you have 2 lane bridges that connect both of the wings to Admin. So in the back of this chopper, you have a weapons box. You can walk into it. You can walk out of it. But you have a weapons box there. Usually spawns, you know, weapon stuff. The back of this ambulance is really important. This ambulance is a very good loot spawn. So you have a chance of, I think it's Violet that spawns here. But you also have 2 Ledic spawns, one right here and one right here. You always want to check this thing right here. It is a random medical spawn, but it can spawn Ledics. I have found one right here this wipe, and my friend has found one right here. Back-to-back raids. So always check that ambulance. Super, super helpful. So then we're going to go over to West first. When you come in the front door of West, this little room right here is a pretty decent, like, it's not the biggest room, but it's a pretty decent room. You have 2 weapons lockers here. You have a computer. You also have keycard spawn. You check the desk. You check this shelf. And, yeah. That's this little room. So then we go down here. There's a lot of open rooms on first floor of West that you can get into. The 2 locked rooms that matter are West 112. This room is a quest room. But you can also find keycards in here. This table right here is always, it's a food spawn. So if you're ever low on energy or water or anything like that, hydration, you can always come here, and 9 times out of 10 you're going to get something that'll help you. You have 2 bags right here, and then over here on this thing, on the TV stand, you have a chance of a key card. If anybody knows what color. I can't remember what color spawns in here. I think it's blue or violet. I don't think this one is a red one. I think it's blue or violet. I can voice that over later though. But you have a chance for keycard spawn, so always check that. So then you have open room. You have open room. This room is technically open. It's open from the other side. It's a longer room, so this door is this whole room. The other room that matters on first that's locked is 104. It is a blue keycard spawn. So you have a random medical spawn right here. You have keycard spawn right here on the table. You always want to check and make sure your thing is not highlighting because it can be hiding underneath these folders. And then you have a random tech spawn right here, medical spawn as well, that you can get like GPU, LEDI, something like that from. I always shut the doors because I don't know, it's offline raid and it makes me feel good. West Wing also has a basement. And this is also how you'll know you're in West Wing, is if you can go into the basement. East Wing, you cannot go into the basement. So in the basement, there's a lot of different stuff. There's this pool, which over here is going to be one of your quest items for Peacekeeper. You have to just go in here real quick. There's nothing you have to pick up. But yeah. And then we go down to this area of the basement. You have a bag right here. This is basically just the opposite stairs. This is spiral. You go up over here. You have a bag right here that you can loot. And then basement is a red keycard spawn. So you always want to check these lockers, boxes over here to make sure that there's not a keycard. You have a couple boxes down here to loot as well. Yeah. You have a couple things. You have a bag over here to loot. What? And another bag right here. But you always want to check to make sure red key card is not in this basement. Or if it is. Because, I mean, who doesn't want a red key card? So then we're going to come up spiral stairs here. And we're going to go ahead and go to second floor. So second floor is where most of the unlockable rooms are for West. This is Sky Bridge right here that connects West and East. So if we're starting at the beginning of the West, we have 203. 203 is a keycard spawn as well. You have a medical bag, a regular bag. Always want to check this newspaper right here, because it can spawn a keycard. There's a weapon box right here on the balcony. It's kind of a risky one if somebody's pushing up this way. So, unless I'm on my scav, I don't ever really check this. But you also have loot spawns in here. Medical spawn right here. You have electronic spawn over here. Toolbox, things like that. I always just look around. Random stuff can spawn on the floor. And yeah. So 203 is good room. Always make sure you check it. If you have the 203 key, you do not need 205 because those are the two rooms that connect through the balcony. So you can get either 205 or 203. I recommend going for whichever one is cheaper at the moment because flea market fluctuates so much. So I definitely recommend just, you know, just going with whatever's cheaper. It'll help you in the long run. So then we'll go down second. And then second has this little jump over thing. We just jump over. And then we will go to 216. 216 is an expensive room. West 216 is a pretty decent room. So you have a electronic spawn here, so that can drop a GPU for you. You have weapons crate. You have another crate. You have food spawns right here. You have another crate. And then you have another crate. 216 does not connect to any other rooms. So this is just a one-room key. A lot of keys do connect to other rooms. So I always recommend checking in here. This is a very expensive key, but it's definitely worth. It'll pay out in the long run. And then we go to 219. 219 is a quest room, but personally, I always check in here anyways. You have a medical spawn right here. It's the generator room, so this is for one of the quests you have to do that you have to find the generator rooms. But you also have random ammo that spawns up here in boxes, and then you have this crate right here as well. And you have this closet right here as well, this weapons closet. So it's definitely, like, it'll have loot, it just may not have as good of loot as other rooms. This room also does not connect to any other rooms, so it's a one-use key as well. And then West 220 is a really good room to have. I always check in here. So there's medical spawns right here. You'll get a lot of stims from this little thing. A lot of IFAKs, AFAKs, CMSs, things like that. I get a lot of my stims just from this thing. Then you have a little weapon crate that you can search here. You have another crate that you can search here and here. Sometimes things will spawn up on this box. Not very often, but sometimes. And then right here and right here on this table and on this box, you will have a high tier loot spawn that can spawn bitcoins, roosters, clocks, gold chains, things of that nature. So I always, always, always check right here because who doesn't want a free bitcoin? So then the next room, now this room is a really good key. 220 also does not connect to any other room. This door is open right here. It'll lead you to 219. 219 is a closed room, and you cannot get to it from the balcony of 220. So another single room use. So so there's West 222 and 221. I use key 221, because this key will get me into 3 different rooms. So that's super, super nice. So you have this crate right here. And then stuff will sometimes spawn on top of these boxes. I would always check that as well. And then you can go out here to the left and it'll put you in this room where you have a medical bag and a regular bag that you can check. And then you can also come over here and then you're in this room. And then you have, sometimes money will spawn here on the table. And then you have this crate that you can loot. So it's a one key for 3 different rooms. You also have these 2 weapons lockers that you can loot as well if there's a weapon in them. So I would say that's a pretty good deal. 1 key, 3 rooms. It's easy, easy money. So then we can start going to 3rd. Another way to identify if you're in a West Wing is if you see this. West Wing, you kind of have to backtrack to get down from 3rd to get to the other side of 3rd. It does have a cut-through room, though, that you can go through that has a bag in it. And then in this room, you'll have a random spawn right here. It can spawn electronics, medical, food. It's got a bunch of random spawns that can happen on this table. And then you have this weapons closet right here as well that I would always check. If you come through here, West 321, on Flea Market it'll say 321 safe key. In your pouch it'll just say room 321. So the room is always open, so if you see it open, don't be alarmed. Nobody's been in there. It's this safe. So this safe is the West 321 key. And you always want to... I always check the safes because... I mean, they're all high tier loot spawns. Vases, money, clocks, rollers, all kinds of stuff can spawn in the safes, so I always check the safes. Now, you can get to the other rooms through here, but they're all, like, a lot of these rooms are open, so you can also just walk down the hallway for them as well. And a lot of these open rooms, like, there's a box right here in the hallway, there's a weapons box right here in this room. So I would just explore up here. There's a lot of free rooms that can allow you to get loot as well. This, however, you cannot jump over it. You can't get past it. So you have to go back down to 2nd through the cut-through room to get to the other side of 3rd floor. And that is what we are going to do. Nobody heard that. Nobody heard that. We're fine. We're vibing. We're fine. We're fine. We're okay. So we're going to come up spiral. We're not going to come up middle. So this is spiral stairs because it looks like a spiral. That's pretty self-explanatory. And then those are middle stairs because they run through the middle of West instead. So if we come up spiral, or if we come up middle stairs, there's a free room. Really, really, really good room. So this free room is West 311. It will always spawn open. And this room has made me a lot of money this way. I have found, well, see, we're walking into money already. So there's two really good spawns in here. Well, four technically. So right here on the floor, there's one right here on the newspaper. These can spawn basically almost anything in the game. I have had it to where I've found a Lennox right here and a GPU right here. So I would always check this room. It's a free room, and you're not guaranteed that something will spawn here, but a lot of times it will. And you also have a spawn on this chair as well, and you have a spawn right here in this closet. And then you also have this bag that you can check. So I would always come into West 311 because it is definitely worth. And then also this room right here, West 313. You have a bag over here, and you have a random spawn right here in the closet as well, a random technical spawn, which technical spawns can spawn GPUs, so I would always check that as well. And then we go over here. You don't have to jump over the holes, you can just walk on this little thing over here and you'll be fine. So West 306. 306 is a quest room key. It is, I think it's gone down a little bit right now. I'm not 100% sure. But it is a quest room key, but it's also a pretty decent loot key. So we'll go in here. So I call this, personally, I call it dead body room because there's two dead bodies. But the dead bodies can spawn a lot of random stuff. I have found slicks in here on them. I found just random things. On the bed and on the floor are medical spawns, and right here is a food spawn, and right here on the floor is a food spawn, and then you have the medical crate as well. But I always, if anybody plays with me, you hear me say I'm in dead body room, I'm in West 306. That is the easiest way that I identify this room, because I think it makes sense. And we also learned that on this bed is a weapon spawn as well. I have not seen it often, but I've seen it once. So there can be a random weapon. I've seen an M4 here so far that spawns on this bed. So always keep a lookout for that as well. Now the number one room in West Wing, because every wing has the best room. So the number one room for West Wing is West 301. This key is like gold, and it will be very expensive. I think it's about 300k, 350k or so right now. But West 301 will always be the best room. You will always make your money back from this key. I would definitely highly recommend spending the money. Be careful though. If you're solo, if you know you've been in raid for a while and you don't see this room unlocked, I would always check 303 because it's an unlocked room and somebody can be camping in here waiting for you to unlock this door, because when you get stuck unlocking a door, you cannot shoot your gun. You can look around, you can do whatever, but you can't shoot. So they can just wait for you to unlock this door and then kill you as you're in the process of unlocking, and there's nothing you can do about it. So always check 303 for a camper if you know you've been here for a while and you don't see that this is open, you see it says unlock. But we will go into 301. This room is so good. So things can spawn like right in here, like random tool spawns, random electronic spawns, up top here as well as in the carpet, so I would always check there. We come around here. Now right here, there is a high tier loot spawn. You can get Bitcoins, GPUs, Lennoxes, clocks, roosters, all kinds of things. So always check right here and right inside the store. Right up here is electronic and medical spawn, so you can get GPUs, LEDs, everything right here as well. There's usually like a bunch of stuff like there is now just laid out. There is a high tier loot spawn in this chair right here. There are 2 PCs that you can get GPUs from. There's a spawn right here on the floor that can drop a bloody, a GPU or something like that. And you can also get a Letix or a GPU right here as well. So a lot of high tier spawns in this room make this room, that's what makes the key so expensive and makes it worth it. Also on the bed, you have a medical spawn that usually spawns like CMS, stems, bandages, hemostats, things like that. And then you have this crate right here, which can spawn just random stuff, rigs, gun parts, things like that. And that is the entirety of West Wing. So now we will go to admin. I will drop down. I know I'm safe because I'm in an offline raid. So now we'll go to admin. Admin, I always recommend do not cross the land bridge. Because if somebody is in the land bridge in east, they can see you and it's an insta-kill. I always recommend going out the back here of west and cutting across through here. Because you have cover if somebody is in that other land bridge. You have this little area where you can just, like, crouch. Where you can crouch, and they can't see you. And then you can just kind of, you know, move on through. So this is admin. Admin is pretty small. There is a lot of food spawns. You can have food spawns in admin. I always recommend checking admin for food spawns. This little room right here, there is a PC. So I always check that. You know, PCs have a chance of spawning, GPUs. So I always check for the GPU there. And this tray can spawn a lot of random stuff, technical and medical. So you can get a GPU, LEDI, all the way down to like a T-plug. So definitely worth. Would I say east or west is better loot? Honestly, I feel like the loot is pretty evenly distributed between the wings. I just feel like both of the wings are really OP. You can loot all of west and come out with 500 to 2 mil in a raid. 500,000 rubles to 2 mil in one raid. Just from one wing, if not more. So I feel like it's pretty evenly distributed between their wings, so I wouldn't say one is better than the other. Personally. My personal opinion. I don't think one is better than the other. So if we go upstairs, always be careful coming up these stairs too, because I have had it to where Sanitar and both of his guards spawn in this room right here. And it is a pain to fight them here. So always be careful when you're coming up these stairs. People also have a really good peek from here. So be mindful of that as well. If you think somebody is in admin, be careful of how you push this as well. So then we have, if we go through this room, you see we have a PC right here. This PC is risky. As you can see, there's a big window and it's facing east. So if anybody is on those floors right there, they will be able to see you and they can shoot you, or if they're going across Skybridge. But PCs, once again, have a chance of spawning GPUs. And there is 1, 2, 3, 4 in this room, plus a technical crate, plus a barter item spawn right here and on the floor right here as well. So then we go out of here and we go into here. So there is a, it's like a tool spawn right here. But you can also get, like landmarks poison, the fire clean, things like that here as well. So you can find Kappa items here. You can also find them here on this shelf as well. A tool spawn or barter item spawn right here on these shelves as well. And then you also have a PC in here. So then we go to this room right here. This room is pretty good. You have a GPU spawn right here and right here on the table. And you also have a safe here, and then you have a PC here as well. There is a lot of PCs in admin that I always loot because I think they are 100% worth it. And then if we come into this room over here, we have, you know, a tool spawn, tool spawn, tool spawn, and then we also have a electronic spawn, which could spawn a GPU as well. So always check these rooms, even if it's just a quick glance over and then you get out, because of the window right here. And then we'll go over to the other side. For those of you just joining, we're doing a walkthrough of Shoreline Loot for everybody. So yeah. Alright. So, this is the other side of admin. You have a bag right here. If you go into this room, nothing spawns on the shelves. But you do have this safe back here. You also have these filing cabinets here. So you can get good loot out of here. You just have to search all this stuff, but it's definitely worth it. The safe keys are going to be the administration safe keys. So the safe keys for admin are going to be Health Resort Management Office safe key and Health Resort Management Warehouse safe key. So these are the two safe keys for admin. I always suggest getting them. They're super cheap right now. I definitely recommend having them because safes are guaranteed money. Whether it's just a little or a lot, they're always guaranteed money. You can always make money off of them. And then we have this room right here. So for this room, there is a keycard spawn here in the lockers. And then you have this weapon crate right here that you can loot as well. Just always be mindful of where you are in admin because there's windows right here and right here. They can see you. This is 301. That room is always going to have somebody in it. And they will be able to see you from this angle. And they can see you from Skybridge as well. So I always say just be careful when you loot an admin. Because it is sketchy. This table right here also has an ammo spawn. So you can just get random ammo from this table. And yeah, that is admin. Alright guys, so this is East Wing. East Wing has a lot of pretty good rooms. It even has free rooms just like West Wing. The first room that I would go to is first floor. It is East 110. This is Sanitar's room, blue tape key. You can always tell which one is his room because it has the bloody handprint next to it. So we just go in here. You always want to check on this floor right here. There's always there's like a medical spawn right here on the floor. There is spawns in the shower as well. So you always want to check the shower because I found the Lennox here the other day. Who wants to pass up a Lennox? Then you always want to check out this floor right here. There's a random medical or electronic spawn, which means that there can be a Lennox or a GPU or something like that. And the table also has a medical spawn as well. And over here on the floor can spawn things as well, just like medical stuff. There is a PC in here, and on top of this, there is a high tier loot spawn, so gold chains, stuff like that can spawn there. And there is a money spawn on the table. If we go back here, there is a high tier loot spawn right here. And then if you see a suitcase like this, always realize that you can loot it. And always loot it because you never know what you can get out of them. I've gotten the most random stuff. There's also a medical spawn on this tray right here on both of the shelves. So always check that as well. And then we'll come over here to East 107 is the other key that matters for first floor. So if we go into here, we have a, well, this proves it. We have a Lennox spawn on the shelf. This is the offline raid, so there's no point in me grabbing it. But there is a Lennox spawn in 107. It could be on these shelves. You have medical and technical spawns right here. you can have a money spawn underneath these. So always check under here as well. And then you have the medical box right here. And then you have a bag right here and a medical bag right here as well. And random barter items will spawn right here on this table. You can also have a money spawn on this table back here as well. It's kind of funny that I do an offline raid and I find a Lennox. So next we're going to go to second floor of East. The rest of East is just open rooms that have random bags in them. But I want to mostly focus on like the really good free rooms and the key rooms and things like that. So East 228 has a PC in it. There is a GPU spawn and it also has a medical bag. So always check this one as well. And then we go to East 226. 226 is a really, really good key. We have a Lennox spawn in here as well. Now you can open 222 or 226. 222 I believe is the cheaper key. I am just an idiot and I keep buying 226, but I'm also used to my pathing going into 226. So it's more comfortable for me to go into this room first rather than this room first. But these two rooms connect, so you can buy either 222 or 226, it does not matter. So when you come into 226, if you open this one, you want to close the door because there are spawns on this shelf right here. And this shelf can spawn a Lennox. It has random medical spawns. Or right here as well. You have a high tier loot spawn right here on the floor. So you always want to check the carpet. Make sure there's not a Bitcoin hiding in there. You also have a high tier loot spawn right here by the door. So always check that. You have this weapons crate right here. And then you have a random spawn up here as well, medical or technical. So a GPU can spawn here as well. And there's a high tier loot spawn on the floor right here also. Then we come into 222. So these are electronic spawns on both of these desks. So both of these have a chance to spawn a GPU. And you have a toolbox, a grenade box, and a weapons box as well. So definitely worth looting these two rooms. Also, you can get a gun from this weapons locker. And this will also spawn a gun for you as well. So we'll leave 226. And then we will come to 219. 219 is like West 311. It's a free room and it's a pretty good free room. So you always want to check and make sure there's nothing hiding in here. You always want to check and make sure there's nothing hiding over here. There's a high tier loot spawn right here on the floor. And on the table as well. And on this box. So you always want to make sure to check this room. It's an open room. And it's just free money. You don't have to use a key turn or anything like that. So it's always nice just to get free money. So if we go down second a little bit further, there is a weapons box in a hallway. This is a risky thing to loot if you are not sure if you are not alone in East. So just be mindful of that. If you know you're alone, you know, if you're running a 5-man and you're all running around, I'm sure this is 100% safe to loot. So just be mindful of that, but this is a weapons crate right here, and you can get some stuff out of it. So we'll walk by the hole in the floor. And then we can go into East 209. The door is closed by default, but you can always open it. In this drawer is a medical spawn right here, so you always want to check that as well, and on top. And then we can go around over here. And then we can open this medical bag, we can open this crate, and this crate as well. And there is a food spawn down here on the floor. So if you ever need food, always check in here. You might be able to find some. Oh, I didn't buy this key. So East 205, I keep forgetting to buy this key. I am sorry. I am Papega. But East 205 is another room that you always want to check. there is, there are like crates and bags that you can loot in there as well. So always check East 205. Easy loot, easy money. So then if we go up to third, third has a lot of rooms that you can loot. So we'll start here. There's East 306 and East 308. So these two rooms both connect. You only need one of the keys. I have the 308 key, so I'm going to open this one first. So when you open 308, you have a medical box right here. You have a spawn on the table here. It can spawn just random stuff, medical stuff, things like that. You have a food spawn right here on this table and right here on the floor. So always look for that. Then you have a random medical spawn on this as well. So always check there for loot as well. And then if you come over here, if you're overweight and your guy can't really jump, if you step on top of this, you'll be able to clear it with ease. And it's the same for going back. You just jump on this box and then you can jump over. I'm not overweight, so I can jump over pretty easy. But, you know, if you are, it's a helpful tip. And then you have this box right here. You have a high tier loot spawn on the bed and in this drawer. And then you have 4 PCs. I call this PC room. It's also a quest room. So these 4 PCs have a chance to spawn a GPU. So I would always check in here just to make sure. You never want to leave a GPU behind. So if we go down here, now there is another weapons box right here. You always want to, like I said, be mindful if anybody else is in the wing, because it might be an easy death for you. If nobody else is in the wing, you know it's clear, go ahead and loot it. You can get a pretty decent gun out of there. I've gotten M4s, I've gotten RSASs, RFBs, like, I've gotten random guns out of there. So definitely worth checking. 310 is another key, another room that I always check. It has the possibility of high tier loot, so I always check it. So you have a possibility of high tier loot right here on this suitcase. On this table, you have the possibility of where the chainlet spawns, like gold chains, clocks, roosters, things like that. And the same for where the horse spawn is as well, is a high tier loot as well. And then you also have the 2 bags in this room. So I always check this room just in case. I found a Bitcoin on this table the other day. So definitely worth it. Now, with East 3rd floor, you have cut-through rooms, but you don't have to backtrack to get to the other side of East, which is really nice. So the first, another good room on East is East 313. So we'll go ahead and unlock that. So we get in here, you have a medical bag, you have this right here, this weapons crate. You have the possibility of something spawning up here, so I would always check up here as well. But if you go around, you get into East 314, and you have a tool spawn right here, and then you also have a weapon part spawn back here on this table. And it's definitely worth checking. You can also have weapons parts spawn right here on the floor. So always check the table and the floor right here for weapon parts. You may find something that you need. So then we'll just go through cut-through room. Now with cut-through room, you do have this, but just be mindful of the people who can come up by these rocks right here. There is a way that you can loot it without being seen, but it's if they can see through the crack or something, then it's an easy death. But you can have this weapons box here. You just come through here, and you're on the other side. This is 314, 313, and 314 connect. You can buy either of the keys. You will get into both of the rooms. I would suggest only buying one of them, though, because you only need one. So if we go down here, you have a bag on the table right here that you can loot. And then if we keep going, you have marked room. On this map, marked room is open. There is no door, lock, and key or anything like that. Anything can, like, around the pig, there's a lot of high tier, I call it pig, because he has a pig head. But, we call this pig room. There's a lot of high tier loot that can spawn around the marked circle, so always look in it. And I always search him too. I have found like 3 slicks off of him this wipe so far. So I definitely always search him. It's random stuff that you can get off of him, but I always definitely search him for the chance of a slick. And then if we come over here, because I walked by this room and I'm sorry. So East 316 is another good room as well. It is a weapons part room. So if we go in here, you have weapon part spawns right here on this table. And then you have weapon part spawns up here as well. And they can also be on the floor right here underneath it. Then you have 2 weapons crates right here that you can loot as well. And then the last room for East is East 328, which is another weapons part room. So you have a electronic spawn on both of the corners of the table, which can spawn a GPU, and you have a computer here as well. You have a bag here, and you have a weapon part spawn here on this table. You have a weapon part spawn here on this as well. 328 will also connect to this room right here. So I always come through and check because you have a spawn right here on this table as well. And there could be something in these boxes. So I always just come here and look and make sure that I'm not missing anything. And that is a full walkthrough of Resort, you guys. So I hope that this helps in your learning of Resort. If you have a fear of Resort, I hope it helps you get over it. Because Resort isn't that scary. There are a lot of really good players that play Resort. But in the end, once you learn the angles, the peaks, where the loot is, and things like that, then I think anybody could play this map. This map is a really good map for making money. And it's a really, really, really good map to learn. I always suggest coming Resort to make money. Because it's really, 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 really good for it. But that is our Resort walkthrough, you guys.